Welcome back to our episode, and today we're going to be talking about something that needs to be done. On the previous episode, we talked about the challenges related to tree loss and how we can be able to work with this. One was on protection, number two on restoration, and then promotion of in ex situ conservation approaches such as seed banks and botanical gardens. But today we want to talk about restoration. Now, when we talk about this, we know very well that the UN declared this decade to be a decade of ecosystem restoration. What that means is that a lot of efforts have been made, from the Bonn Challenge to the UN New York Declaration on Forests, and trying to focus on ways in which we can be able to improve ecosystem restoration. There are contexts that vary. In Uganda, for example, the IUCN Rome assessment report indicated that we have over 8 million hectares available for restoration across different places, with hotspots that have been identified. For example, the Albertine River. Now, to have a successful restoration, we need to answer a number of questions, because ultimately it can remain on paper, but we need to have a number of considerations. Number one, the first question or the first consideration we want to have is how much restoration needs to be carried out in a particular landscape. This involves trying to ascertain and determining how much area, where is it available, what is the degradation levels, and so that you can be able to plan your restoration appropriately. The second question, which is very, very critical, where should this be carried out? On whose lands? What is the tenure? What is the governance situation of these lands? Where is it? Who owns it? What is the role of the different stakeholders? So that you can be able to strategically distribute these areas within the landscape in a way that you can maximize ecological impact. The third critical point that you need to focus on as we think about restoration is what type of restoration are you going to undertake within each particular location? Is it about enhanced restoration? Is it going to be natural regeneration? What form is it going to be taking? A species-rich and structurally complex forest is preferred in forest landscape restoration. So, of course, it depends on the biophysical conditions and also on the resources that are available for you. And lastly, very critical, is how should this process be managed? It's a top-down approach usually, or bottom-up, or is it a mixture of these? Because each of these is context-specific. There is a need to agree on what will be considered and for each of these particular projects and how it will be operationalized. But of course, as you do this, you've got to consider integrating and working with the different community members and the different stakeholders. Catch you next. We'll be talking about why it is very, very important to involve all the stakeholders.